Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some clips of people talking about the things fat people deal with that would send skinny people into a coma. Some of the examples include things we've heard about before, such as a lack of in-store plus-size shopping, and being worried about fitting into things like chairs. Others complain about fat characters on TV and not being able to get a second serving during dinner, as well as many other complaints, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
What are some things that I do that would probably send a skinnier person into a coma? To make sure I don't get any baby rash underneath my belly, I literally lay starfish on my bed until I'm fully dry. Because what happens is, if I put my clothes on immediately after showering, there's a possibility that underneath my belly, there's still moisture there and that can get trapped and cause a rash.
Okay, that sounds really bad. So after a shower, we have to lay on the bed like this. Like complete starfish, arms and legs completely extended, waiting for the area under our belly to dry. Okay.
So to eliminate that, I sit starfish on my bed until I'm completely dry. And depending on how hot it is, I sometimes put baby powder to make sure that there's no moisture there, because especially during the summertime, you know, I'm a little sweaty girl.
Okay.
I always have an anti-friction stick on me no matter what, even if I'm wearing long pants.
Is that what this is? An ad for that anti-friction stick? Because I respect it. I respect the hustle of that.
Because when you're a bigger person, regardless of what you're wearing, you can still chafe. An example, when I wear jeans, underneath my butt, I get a rash sometimes because of my skin rubbing against each other.
Under your butt, you get a rash. By the way, the point of this video is not to laugh or make fun of any of these things. I just think it's very interesting. Like, people often list a bunch of valid reasons to change their life, but then they don't see that these are valid reasons to change their life. They're often like, I have to go through this, and this, and you guys wouldn't know anything about that. But some people have used this, and this as valid excuses to change their life, or motivation to make positive changes in their lives.
Boom, friction stick for that. Say if I'm walking on a treadmill, I can get so irritated underneath my boobs or my belly that it becomes raw.
It becomes raw? Okay, so she has a New England accent that has the intrusive R. You ever heard someone say "I dear," like Big Paulie from Orange County Choppers or whatever the hell? People from New England often also use the intrusive R. That was really bizarre the way she used it right here. Hold on.
That it becomes raw.
It becomes roar. Okay. You're gonna hear me roar. Sorry.
So having an anti-friction stick is one of the best things that I can do.
Is that the best solution to all of those problems?
To help prevent that, because nobody wants to have baby rash.
Okay, so she said she had skin rubbing together in various areas. In various areas, this shit is not hilarious. Bores. And her solution is to get an anti-friction stick. After a shower, I have to lay like a starfish until I dry off. Various parts of my body are rubbing together. The best solution is an anti-friction stick. Okay, I mean, that's one solution. There are multiple ways that we can tackle chafing. Using an anti-friction stick is just one. Next.
Hey y'all, hola mi gente.
Hey.
I've seen a lot of people do these, but I want to do my own. Things fat people deal with that would send skinny people into a coma. Let's go. First one, it's very specific. The sound of your thighs rubbing together in tights or leggings. Like, you can actively hear the fabric, like, when you're walking.
I've had that issue before. I think that's more of a fabric thing. Like, when you wear certain types of fabric, they're all loud. There's actually an episode of Seinfeld where George is walking around wearing these pants that rub together and make this loud noise. And he starts working for this guy that has all these weird quirks around noise and stuff and gets irritated when he hears strange noises. And so George is walking through the office with these swishy ass pants, and his boss keeps going around looking for what's making that stupid, irritating noise.
And I know people can hear it because it's really loud, and I look-y try to talk over it.
Oh, that's funny as hell. While you're walking, you're talking loudly so nobody will hear the sound of your pants rubbing together. You're like, lovely weather we're having, isn't it? Bethany, what do you think about that sunset we had last night? I love that.
So people don't notice it. Like, when I'm walking, I'll be trying to make hella noise, so it's not so loud.
That's funny that you notice, and it's like driving you crazy. That sounds like me. That's very neurotic.
Take it a step further, chub rub in general, like it's more than just the idea of chafing, because we all know regardless of size, if skin is like rubbing together, there's a possibility of chafing. But it's the fact that the factory default of your legs is for your thighs to always be touching. Like the only time they're not touching is if you're actively choosing to spread your legs. And like, if you're getting it in like that, I love that for you. Like that's what's up. But the fact that your thighs are always touching, I feel like that's just a lot for people who don't know that experience to handle.
The thighs rubbing together is a huge deal. I had an issue with that when I went to Six Flags with my friends many years back when I was living in a larger body. We were walking around Six Flags, which is a lot of walking, and I had some serious thigh chafe. It was excruciating by the end of the day, and I could barely walk. I should have put baby powder between my thighs, but I don't know what my problem was. I didn't do that.
Next, we have when your panties slide under your stomach / fupa, like that, you know, there's like your hanging belly.
Oh, okay. I have the visual now.
One is a tough one. I know for a fact that people would not be able to handle that, because that.
Okay, so these are things that skinny people could not deal with. These are just too difficult to deal with. Maybe some of the skinny people dealt with these things in the past, and it was too much for them to deal with, so they lost weight.
Ooh, it stresses me out every time it happens. Especially when you're wearing a dress, it feels like you're letting it all hang out, and you don't have the security of your underwear to like hold your stomach up.
Okay, so just to give a quick visual on this situation. She's talking about your fupa or belly like hanging over like this. Let's say this is your belly and it's hanging down like this, like sagging down. If your underwear were going across it here like this, and then like you walk around a little too much, it might slide down underneath, and then this belly pouch bit is gonna hang over and the underwear is gonna go up underneath like that, I believe is what they're talking about. I'm sorry to give you like a visual representation using my hands. I didn't want to bust out other body parts to demonstrate this.
Next, we have a visible belly outline, your VBO. So
your VBO! Okay, we've got an acronym for that now. Man, when my VBO starts showing, that's when things are really going off the rails.
Shows in everything, regardless of if it's like a slimming swimsuit, if it's like those like jeans that have the built-in shape where like regardless, you're gonna see the outline of the belly, and either you accept it or you don't. A lot of people, it's harder for them to accept it than it is to just love on it.
Okay, well, I mean, you kind of have to accept it if that's what you have going on, you know?
But the fact that it even exists, I don't think smaller people could really understand, like could even comprehend the idea of like you not having a flat stomach. And
no, I think a lot of them can. Like I said, a lot of thinner people actually used to be larger, so.
And like it shows up in every single article of clothing. Next, doctor interactions.
Oh man, don't get me started on doctors.
Very self-explanatory. You walk in for something regular, the doctor is handing you a weight loss pamphlet off rip. There's no chance for you to even explain that you have an earache. They're like, but have you lost weight yet?
You're like, but I'm here for a broken arm. They're like, yeah, well, you know, we might take care of that after you lose weight. Damn these doctors.
Child, medical fat phobia. Next, we have wondering if you'll fit literally anywhere. Like, you're wondering if the chairs have arms on them. You're wondering if the table in the booth moves back so you have space. You're wondering if the chairs are strong enough. You're wondering, like, if you're not encroaching on people's spaces. Like,
I like how we're saying that we have to go through all this difficult stuff and skinny people don't. But like I've said, that's the reason a lot of people chose to lose weight, so they don't have to go through all of these things.
You're just wondering about taking up a lot of space. To which I say, take up all the space you want, you feel me? But the thought, it's a fat person thought. Next, we have people hitting on you by telling you give great hugs. I think people expect you to...
Are you sure they're hitting on you when they say you give great hugs? Because this is the first time I'm hearing somebody put that spin on it. I've heard people complain about others saying, everyone's always saying fat people give the greatest hugs, but that's really just an insult. But I've never heard anybody say that people were saying that as a way to hit on others. What? That's very bizarre. Are we just taking it that way and that's not how they actually meant it?
Feel like a cloud when they hug you and they think that that's cute to approach you with.
I don't think that anybody that said that to you was hitting on you. I think they were just giving you a bizarre compliment that they thought was a compliment. but it's actually really weird, like, because they didn't have anything valid and genuine to say that was nice, so they made up something, which always comes off as weird, because that wasn't how you genuinely felt, right? You're like, oh, you look like you give the best hug. Like, you didn't really want to say anything, but you were looking for something positive to say, so you ended up with some really weird, awkward crap like that. I propose that we just say nothing. If we don't have anything to say, let's just say nothing.
It's the most awkward thing, because it's like, I don't know you, but you want physical proximity to me. It's weird.
I think we're taking that wrong.
Okay, I obviously have more of these, and I want to share them with you, so I'm going to make a part 2. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're basically listing a bunch of things that we go through that we don't necessarily have to go through. This could be titled Things Fat People Go Through That Would Send Skinny People Into a Coma, or it could also be titled A List of Negative Things That I Go Through That I Wouldn't Have to Go Through If I Lost Weight. That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as nicely, though. Next.
So I've seen some other people do these, and I feel like I'm finally on the right side of TikTok.
I might have covered this video in the past, like years ago. If I did, I'm sorry, I forgot. But it looks pretty familiar, and I know I've covered this topic before. So if any of these are repeats, I'm sorry, I'm old. And we're about 4 years into doing this now, so... There might be repeats occasionally.
I can do one now. So here are things that fat people deal with that would send thin people into a coma. Number 1, shopping for events at the last minute. I feel like the worst outfits that I have ever put together have been for themed parties that I wasn't prepared for.
Themed parties that you weren't prepared for. Okay, if we're having a themed party, like, whatever the hell that even means, like what does that mean? Like, we're all gonna dress up like the Wizard of Oz or some crap, various characters, like something like that. If we're gonna do something all detailed and involved like that, go ahead and let me know more than 2 days ahead of time, right? If we're having a themed Superman party and I need to get a super specific Superman outfit, then do me a solid, bestie, and let me know sooner than 2 days before the event, right? At least give me 2 weeks or a week so I can order an outfit on Amazon.
There's no go run to the mall, go.
If it's a themed party, what are you gonna go grab at the mall, right? I'm guessing themed means like a Cinderella party. We all have to get super specific outfits that we are definitely not going to find in store anyway.
Run to Soho, go run to nowhere to find a very specific look at the last minute. You have 2 options at most, and you have to deal with whatever's in season at that time.
Okay, don't you have to deal with what's in season when you go in-store shopping regardless?
This one is for the fashion girlies, finding thigh-high boots. There are only 3 retailers on the entire planet Earth that sell thigh-high boots for people with wide calves and wide thighs.
Okay, it sounds like there's a hole in the market. It sounds like I need to make a brand that sells thigh-high boots for people with wide calves and wide thighs.
And if you have a specific style in mind, good luck, because even when you find them, they're never as cute as what other thin people get to wear.
Okay.
Next is number sizes. Have you ever noticed when you ask thin people what their size is, they say extra small, small, medium? What the does that mean?
Well, it's not just straight sizes that correlate to a number. Plus sizes also correlate to a number. Like 1X is a 18 or something, 2X is a 22, 3X is a 24, or whatever the heck. I'm not sure the actual numbers, but that is not specific to straight sizes or smaller sizes.
That doesn't mean shit.
Well, a 2X does actually have a number equivalent, as does a 3 and a 4X and all the other sizes as well.
If you ask me, I'm a 14, 16, 1X in this brand, 2X in this brand.
Okay, saying you're a 1X, a 2X is equivalent to saying small, extra small, medium. Those names actually do correlate to numbers, so.
42 bust, 36 waist, 48 hips. You have to know all of that if you're plus size.
I think everybody needs to know their sizing measurements in general if they would like to find clothes that fit.
It's never no medium, large, whatever the no. You need to know your number sizes, and it's just a level of privilege that thin people don't understand.
Well, firstly, I think you're just confused in general about the sizes and how they correlate to numbers. And secondly, thin people don't have privilege because they don't spend as much time obsessing over their measurements as you do. A lot of people know their measurements without being plus sized.
I don't know why thin people think that if we post a picture that automatically means that like we're on top of the world with self-confidence. I can fully be looking at a picture of myself and be like, I don't think I look this good, I don't like this angle, whatever, but I like this outfit, or I need something to post from this vacation, and just post it. Just like you guys literally will go through your days just talking shit about your body, but you still have pictures on your Instagram, right? Same with us. Just because I posted a picture doesn't mean that I'm super brave or super confident. No, that's just what my body looks like. And if I have to post a picture, I have to post a picture in that body. Like, I don't have any other options.
Okay, so you're sick of people saying, wow, I wish I had your confidence, when you're just posting a picture. Yeah, that would be annoying.
Eating as a personality trait. That is like one of the biggest things that a fat person cannot relate to. The biggest difference, because we are afraid to even just get seconds, let alone talking about we're hungry every 10 minutes in the day, because the way that people will look at us, the way that I used to get.
Well, people might be looking at you a certain kind of way when you go up for seconds, or you might be imagining it because you're insecure about this thing and you think that everybody's paying more attention to you than they are. You can actually go and get seconds or thirds or fourths or whatever the hell you want, and it doesn't matter the way anybody else looks at you. The only one who's making it matter is you. You're the one who's deciding not to live your life and do the things that you want to do because you think that other people are looking at you and judging you negatively. So you're assuming that everybody is super judgmental of you, whether they are or not, and it's altering your behavior. It's making you act all insecure and be like, everybody's looking at me, everybody's looking at me, which if they weren't looking at you before, they might be now. They're picking up on that vibe of you being like, oh no, oh no, oh no, and it's not giving you a good look. It's not making you look confident or positive with yourself or anything like that.
Questioned as a kid for even wanting seconds, for still being hungry at any point that food wasn't being served. And then you watch these shows or whatever, and it's just like, oh, you know, Jennifer Lawrence is carrying pizza on the red carpet, or Serena on Gossip Girl talking about, oh, where's the pizza, where's the food, every 5 seconds. No.
That's TV.
You'll see fat people on TV who act like that. But fat people in real life, we don't have the privilege to act like that because they put it on TV like that for people to laugh at us. Which brings to the next subject, watching TV. I feel like I'd still be underestimating if I say that 95% of all television includes at least one fat joke.
I don't know if they're still doing that. This video is from a couple years back. We are now in the year 2026. I don't know if the fat jokes persist in TV shows or not.
In every season of a show or in every movie, there's at least one. You can be fully engaged, enjoying the characters, and then you have to remember, oh yeah, everyone hates fat people every time you're watching TV. And if you look at anything made before 2010, it's 10 times worse.
Oh yeah, they used to be really bad with showing the fat character and making fun of them and various things like that.
But honestly, it hasn't gotten that much better. These new shows haven't gotten that much better. And so it's just, you're catching strays every time you sit down to watch TV. Which leads to the next point, fat characters. When shows don't have any fat characters, it's stressful.
What? When shows don't have any fat characters, it's stressful. For who? You? Why?
You want to feel represented. But when shows do have fat characters, sometimes it's 10 times more stressful.
I don't think we understand the word stress, or we haven't been through anything that's actually stressful if we're calling it stressful to see things on a TV show. Like, that character was large and they portrayed them in a negative light. This is stressing me out. Personally, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And we do always have the option of turning the TV off.
You have all the tropes. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but it's just like 9 times out of 10, I really wish that the fat person wasn't included in the show because they were just included to be the butt of the joke.
Okay, but then that would be stressful if there are no fat characters. Although it could be even more stressful when there are, and they're portrayed in a negative light. So I guess we have to choose our stress.
But then you have your few good representations, like Suki in Gilmore Girls, and you see her being happy and being able to live a full life.
I'm not familiar.
But then you hear all the fat jokes that are happening around her in the show, even made by people who supposedly love her. And it's just like, do you guys know that there's a fat person in this show and you're still making fat jokes?
I'm not familiar with Gilmore Girls.
Which brings me to my last point, having thin friends.
Having thin friends would send me into a coma as well. Are we losing, like, the main theme of what we're responding to here?
Thin people like to talk about losing weight like we talk about the weather.
Well, if somebody is currently on a weight loss journey, yeah, they probably like to talk about it a lot. It's something that they're passionate about, something that they're currently going through.
And imagine being around people whose worst fear is looking like you.
Well, if somebody wants to talk about their weight loss and they happen to be around you, you probably shouldn't take it as, your worst fear is looking like me. They probably don't even care what you look like at all. They're just taking care of their own self. They're just tackling their own problems, and it's got nothing to do with you. It's really crazy to try to internalize other people bettering their lives. If I wear glasses and my friend gets LASIK surgery, am I going to be like, you just don't want to look like me? Like, no, I'm just going to be like, oh, you wanted to have better eyesight, so you got LASIK surgery. You didn't want to have to deal with these glasses. Okay. If my friend wants to shave their mustache off, I'm not going to be like, you don't want to look like me, because I understand that my friend is an adult, sentient human being with their own thoughts, wants, and desires, and their motivations have literally nothing to do with me, because I'm not actually the center of the universe. I know that might be a hard pill to swallow.
If thin people knew what it's like to be on the flip side,
they do, which is why they chose to lose weight. Remember, you just said they're constantly talking about weight loss. So it sounds like they probably have had many of these complaints as well, and that's why they're doing this.
Of how they are, y'all would be screaming, crying, throwing up, like, every day.
When I get really upset, I scream and cry, and I throw up. Yes.
Seeing that switch when a fat person that they don't like does something, and all of a sudden they're a whale and they're a big fat this, da 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 da.
When somebody is angry at you, they will use the most hurtful insults that they can think of. So if they think you're insecure about your weight, that will be the thing that they go after.
Seeing that switch and then turning around and smiling in your face and calling you pretty, like literally clutching my pearls. And y'all can dish it, but you can't take it, because imagine we turn around and we're like, yeah, you are getting pretty fat. You are gaining a lot of weight.
I don't know how they would take that coming from you.
You should really do something about that. Y'all would be crying.
Maybe. Or maybe not. I understand when an insecure person is trying to chop me down just because they're insecure, and therefore it does not affect me, personally.
But for some reason, we're not supposed to have feelings about you using fat as a feeling when we're actually living in a fat body. We're not supposed to have any emotions about that.
Well, I agree that if you're around somebody that's larger than you, you shouldn't be like, oh, I feel so fat, and doing all that. Like, you know what you're doing. You know this person is larger than you. You're playing weird little games.
But these are the people we love. These are our friends. These are our close friends. And
no, they're not. I can't stand these people. Honestly, we're really not that close. We're kind of just passing acquaintances, if I'm being real.
And they talk about us and they talk about our bodies this way. Yeah, you guys wouldn't be able to handle it.
All right, and we're gonna wrap up the collection of clips right there. So those were a couple of lists covering things that fat people go through that would send skinny people into a coma, which could also be referred to as a list of negative things that I go through that might motivate me to make positive changes in my life, like it's motivated other people to make positive changes in their lives. Some people might see this as a red flag. The list is getting way too long. Sorry about that. So what do you think about all of their complaints? Leave a comment below. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.